Today, we're going to talk about a single day, a day that completely redrew the lines of history, forever.
So, let me ask you something. What if one morning could change the entire world forever? I mean, really think about that. A day starts out just like any other, totally normal, but by the time the sun goes down, absolutely nothing is the same.
Well, that day actually happened. It was September 11th, 2001. And that date, it now carries so much weight, doesn't it? It's a story of incredible tragedy, but also unbelievable courage, and a world that was just changed in an instant.
So, to really get a handle on what was lost that day, we have to go back. We have to remember what the world actually felt like just moments before everything changed.
You know, it was just a regular Tuesday. The weather was beautiful, a perfect, clear, blue morning all across the country. There was no sign, absolutely nothing, to suggest this day would be any different from the thousands that came before it. It was the definition of normal.
And then, just like that, in a single instant, that entire sense of normalcy was completely, utterly shattered.
It started at 8:46 in the morning. The first plane hit the North Tower. And for a few minutes, right, there was just chaos and confusion. People thought it had to be a horrible accident. But then, at 9:03 a.m., the second plane hit the South Tower. And in that one moment, there was no more doubt. The entire country realized, all at once, this was no accident. The horror just kept escalating. Soon, news broke of another attack, this time on the Pentagon, the very heart of the nation's defense. And then, a fourth plane, which had crashed in a field in Pennsylvania.
America was under attack. I mean, that was the chilling, unbelievable thought that just swept across the country and really the whole world. This wasn't some tragic mistake. It was a planned, coordinated act of war, right here on American soil.
But you know, as the true scale of this nightmare was becoming clear, something else, another story, started to emerge from all that smoke and rubble. And this was a story about incredible human strength.
Just try to imagine the scene for a second. The sky filled with smoke, the constant scream of sirens, people running for their lives, the sights, the sounds. It was like the world was literally coming apart, just complete chaos on the streets of New York. And here's the incredible thing about that day. Right in the middle of all that chaos, something amazing happened. We saw the absolute worst of humanity, and at the very same time, the absolute best began to shine right through.
Think about it. While thousands of people were desperately trying to get out of those buildings, you had firefighters and police officers, first responders, rushing in. They were climbing those stairs, heading right into the smoke. You had regular people, total strangers, grabbing hands and helping each other get to safety. And then, on United Flight 93, a group of passengers made the unbelievable choice to fight back.
And then, the unthinkable. The towers. I mean, these were symbols of American strength. They were the New York skyline. They just collapsed. They vanished into this massive cloud of dust and debris. There was this deafening roar, and then an almost surreal, eerie silence.
But in that silence, in the aftermath, something really powerful started to take shape. And it wasn't just in New York. It was happening all across the country.
The human cost was just staggering. Almost 3,000 lives were lost. That's nearly 3,000 people. 3,000 futures, 3,000 families, 3,000 entire stories just erased in the span of a few hours.
But here's the thing. The towers fell, yes, but America did not fall. These attacks were designed to break the nation's spirit, to crush it. But in so many ways, they ended up doing the exact opposite.
All of that shared pain, all of that grief, it was like it was being forged into something else, something incredibly powerful, a sense of unity, a shared resolve to stand together.
And you could literally see it everywhere you looked. Suddenly, there were American flags on every car, in every window, hanging from overpasses. Strangers were hugging each other on the street. Communities were coming together for vigils, just holding each other up. It was a nation completely united. Yeah, in sorrow, but also in an incredible strength.
So that brings us to today, to the legacy of that day. How does it still shape our world, and what does it all mean for us right now?
You know, one of the biggest things to come out of that day was how it totally changed our idea of what a hero is.
Heroes weren't just soldiers in a faraway land anymore. They were office workers, they were firefighters, they were police officers, they were passengers on a plane. They were just ordinary people. Ordinary people who, when they were faced with a truly impossible moment, made the courageous choice to do something.
And in the end, the impact of 9/11, it's so much bigger than just new security policies or changes at the airport. Sure, those things happened, but the real change was deeper. It was a day that fundamentally changed the nation's psyche. It changed its sense of safety, its identity, really, its soul. And so, we're going to end right back where we started, with a question. Where were you when history changed? Because for so many of us, this isn't just something you read about in a history book. It's a personal memory. It's a moment that's just frozen in time. It's a powerful reminder that some days are just never, ever forgotten.